Global War 36 enthusiast here with Operation From Russia with Love, turn 11.5, Commonwealth. It is July 1941. Commonwealth has two tech rolls. First, I tried for improved construction at a 7 or higher. PBE generated a 10, so I succeeded and complete that tech. Next, I started rolling for long-range aircraft. I need an 8 or higher. PBE generated a 12, so I succeeded and advanced to stage 1. So now I'm in the lucky column. Great Britain is now ahead in tech rolls. That's 2 in a row that I got. 2 turns in a row that I got 2 in a row. Okay, let's swing the camera down and look at purchases. I have been very, very lucky in that Hambone has been determined and doing a lot of convoy raiding. When a board gaming bro convoy raids with the Italians, he is highly effective. But Germany has really been unlucky, fortunately for me. So I did have 19 IPP left over after all the convoy raiding. And I'm going to purchase 1 fighter for 10. I'm going to finish that fortification in Lower Egypt, and I believe that's 4 because of improved construction. And then I'm going to repair the 5 points of damage done to the major port in Gibraltar. So that's 19. FEC, I have 14 to spend. I will purchase 1 militia for 2. I'll upgrade a militia for 2, that's 4. 1 Gurkhas brings me up to 8. And a tank destroyer for 5 brings me to 13. I'll save 1. Anzac has 3. They will purchase infantry. Combat movement. I'm going to do the classic convoy raiding of C-Zone A7. I want to talk about Norway for a second because I don't think a lot of players are considering the math. Norway has 2 IPP value in territories, and it doesn't seem that good. But if you do capture it, then Germany gets an extra 2 in wartime bonus income, so that brings you up to 4. And you can protect against this annoying convoy raiding that I'm doing with the British over and over every turn. So basically, it's kind of worth 6, is the way I think about Norway. We'll see how much damage I do to that convoy line. I only have 1 other combat move with Britain, and that's down here in Burma. I'm going to be moving from Bengal to Burma. I'll attack with 7 British infantry, 5 Gurkhas, 2 Anzac artillery, and 3 British anti-aircraft artillery. It's this little stack over here. Against a Japanese infantry and a Japanese Marines. So those are going to be my 2 combats. Let's go over here, rotate down. See if we can't get a good view of the dice. Okay, so we have 2 submarine attacks. The red is the attacker. I think he does not yet have radar. Let me go look at that chart. It doesn't matter. It's I'm not going to do any damage. No, he's at stage 1 on radar. Okay, so we get another roll. That's the first time I didn't do 2 points of damage to him. Okay, so I do nothing. And then I've got the attack in Burma. It's in jungle. That only affects vehicles. I didn't move a vehicle into this attack. So I have 2 first strike artillery at 3. They're not affected. The artillery aren't diminished by the jungle. I got a hit. And then I've got, let's roll the 2 boosted Gurkhas. So Gurkhas get to attack with a +1 in jungle. That'd boost them up to 3. And then I get an artillery +1. I do believe that counts. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm only allowed to get 1 of the best modifiers. I think that's maybe for terrain. I've never encountered this before. If anyone knows if I'm only allowed to give a +1 to the Gurkhas, let me know. This is an interesting conundrum. I think I get 2 at 4 from the 2 boosted Gurkhas. And I got a 1. So regardless, it's successful. But that is an interesting question to pose to the group. Now, he's got 1 at 4 because I got a first strike hit. So here's his 1 at 4 in retaliation, and he does hit. And I will take that on an Anzac artillery. So I go into Burma with 7 British infantry, 5 Gurkhas, 1 Anzac artillery, 3 anti-aircraft artillery. That's going to make Britain go up 1 and Japan go down 1. So puts Britain up to 21 and Japan is at 46. Okay. Now we'll go to non-combat movement. I think maybe I want to zoom out. Okay, up there in Ottawa, I've got this British medium bomber that Boss and Bruce very kindly lend-leased me, and he is going to fly down here to Puerto Rico. Then from southern England, I'm going to have 2 naval transports leave port into A22 and then go into port in London. I'm going to have this medium bomber from southern London is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Gibraltar. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, that makes it. I'm going to have everything that's in this task force marker. Is that on camera? Yeah, let's just zoom in a little bit. And we'll see if we can't get that in frame a little bit. So it's 6 militia, 4 infantry, 1 airborne infantry, 3 Marines, 1 anti-aircraft artillery. It's all going to move over into London, cowering in fear. It's what I do best. Some people aren't as good at cowering as I am, but I've really perfected it. So then from Gibraltar down here, I've got this air transport that I want to fly all the way up to London. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into London. So in London, I have 7 militia, 4 infantry, 1 airborne infantry, 3 Marines, 1 anti-aircraft artillery, 1 air transport, 3 fighters. It will be 4 at the end of the turn when I do my build. And then in port, I've got 3 battleships, a French destroyer, 2 torpedo boat destroyers, and 2 naval transports. Okay. Don't think I'm missing anything else there, so now we can come down to Gibraltar, or actually A44, where there is a fighter that's on a carrier. It's going to go off the carrier and into the port there in Gibraltar, or not in port, it's landing in Gibraltar to provide some combat air patrol against roving bombers. Then down in Cameroon, we'll need to rotate the camera down there, catch that action. This infantry that's in Cameroon is going to move 1 space over to Nigeria. From Rhodesia, let's go over here, see if we can get that. This infantry and artillery in Rhodesia are going to go down to South Africa, and then this infantry that's in South Africa is going to move one over to Cape Town. So just reviewing down here, I've got a militia, an infantry, and an artillery in South Africa. Rhodesia's empty. And then in Cape Town, I've got an artillery and 2 infantry. This seaplane that's in Madagascar, you can see on the corner of your screen, is going to fly over to Cape Town. Oh, you can't see it on screen. Sorry about that. There you go. See a little wing of it. And that's everything for our movement in Africa. Let's go over here to India. Okay, so I'm going to move from Calcutta. This Anzac infantry is going to move to southern India. From Bengal, this motorized Anzac infantry is going to go 1-2 to southern India, and from Bengal, this Anzac infantry is going to rail to southern India. So in southern India, I have 1 militia, 2 Anzac infantry, 1 Anzac motorized infantry. I think we're ready to go to placement of units. So with Sydney, I'm going to add in 1 more infantry. So that means I have 4 infantry, 6 militia, and an anti-aircraft gun in Sydney. Sorry, Sydney, and I apologize to my Australian viewers. I failed you. I was so happy to have that opportunity to hit with my 2 fighters, and it was a total absolute debacle. Let's look at FEC. I got to place 1 militia, which I think I'm going to put in Bengal, along with the Gurkhas. And then I'm going to upgrade this infantry here in southern India. That's going to be my militia upgrade. There in southern India. I think that's I got that the tank destroyer gets placed in Calcutta. All right. Next up is Great Britain. I'm going to finish that fortification in Lower Egypt on the border with Western Egypt. And I'm going to repair the 5 points of damage to that major port. Whew, that was a painful lesson. Makes you wake up and pay attention on that rule. Fun stuff. The strategic bombing is definitely very strategic. And then in London, I'm going to build that fighter I was telling you about earlier. And that will conclude 11.5. Now let's proceed on. Oh no, we need to do collect income. So Great Britain gets 21 plus 3 for Lower Egypt, so they collect 24. FEC collects 8 plus 1 that they saved, so they end the turn with 9. And Anzac collects 2 IPP. So poor Britain's almost down, even though they've got 3 countries. They're only collecting 1 wartime income for all 3 of those countries. Turn 11.6, free France. I have 3 IPP to spend. I tip my hat to Boss and Bruce. A clever idea. He has suggested that I buy a seaplane base, which I don't think I've bought in any. Yeah, this is my first seaplane base I've ever purchased. It's gonna be built in St. Pierre Island, so this will be interesting. See what Bruce has in store. Really neat idea. There's only 1 combat move, and that's going to be over here with the submarine. It's going to go from P51, 1, 2, 3, up to P14, and conduct convoy raiding there. So let's go over to the camera. I don't believe that I'll have to check this out and see if Panzer J, does Japan have radar? It does not. Okay, so attacker gets a +2. That's a red die, I mean. So wow, so I did 5 minus 1. I do 4 points of damage to Panzer J in C-Zone P14. So I have that knocking them down to 58, I believe. Let me know if I've got that wrong. Non-combat. I have one non-combat movement. It's over here in Africa. That infantry that's in Dahomey, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, is going to move over to Nigeria. So I'm wondering if I got that French bomber. Nope, I'm just gonna keep it right where it is. I was thinking of flying down to Nigeria and joining, but we'll just leave it where it is. Okay, I already placed that seaplane base in St. Pierre Island. I get to collect a whopping 1 IPP of income. Why don't I review disposition? I don't think there's that many movements. I think just yell at me, guys, if you need me to do a disposition. This is Global War 36 Enthusiast, passing it off to a board gaming bro for turn 11.7, Italy.